Oh, good evening.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Good evening, Bhante.
You can all hear me, right?
I can. I guess others can as well.
Yeah. Okay, friends, we'll go ahead and start with reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who like to join. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. So welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So I hope all of you are able to receive the mailing I sent out on Monday with the link to the analysis of the Eightfold Path, which is going to be the topic or beginning for the topic this week, because the last few weeks we had been focusing on just the first step of the Eightfold Path, the right view, the sutra given by the Venerable Sariputta, explaining the various aspects of right understanding. So right view or right understanding, these are the two different ways, the samaditi is translated. So we're focusing mostly on just that first stage of the Eightfold Path. But as we read in that Samaditi Sutta, all of those different ways of developing right view lead to the right view of the Four Noble Truths, and which the Eightfold Path is the the fourth of the Noble Truths, the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So I'm going to now share the screen for the sutta for those who may not have had the time to look at it. Of course, many of you have already know what the Eightfold Path is, but this is for a review. Now, see, I run into this Okay, here we go. Mahavibhanga. Okay. So, this is the Mahavibhanga Sutta from the Sanyutta Nikaya, the analysis of the Eightfold Path. So, the Buddha is talking to the monks and he says, I will teach and analyze for you the Noble Eightfold Path. Listen and pay close attention. What is that Eightfold Path? It's right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Now, right resolve is also translated by other translators as right thought or right intention. Now, we've already covered right view, so tonight I'm going to basically be starting with the right thought. I like to use the terms right thought because they are involve some thinking. So the right view comes first because everything else that follows in the Eightfold Path is preceded by the word right, as opposed to wrong. Now, other translators translate right as sometimes they translate it as harmonious view. But in using the term right and wrong, the Buddha refers to the idea of what leads to happiness and what leads to suffering. So right view, by following right view of the world, it leads to less suffering and more happiness, as opposed to wrong views lead to more suffering and problems and less happiness. So whenever the term is translated as right, it means because these things bring less suffering and more happiness, rather than some other kind of absolute moralistic type of thing. So we've already talked about the various aspects of right view. The main one is the understanding suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering, which is what we are reviewing here. So if your views are wrong, then it leads to wrong thought. Wrong thought leads to wrong speech. Wrong speech leads to wrong action. Wrong action leads to wrong livelihood. Wrong livelihood leads to wrong effort, right mindfulness, and even wrong concentration. But the right view leads to the right thought. Right thought leads to right speech, and so on. So we're going to go down to the second. What is right resolve or right thought? So it's the thought of renunciation, and then the thought of freedom from ill will, and the thought of harmlessness. This is called right thought or the right resolve. That means you get resolved or you develop that intention to develop these things. Because if you look at in the world, a lot of people, a majority of the world are practicing, because of their wrong views, they practice wrong speech. Look at all these even politicians, we can see so many people are involved in wrong speech or wrong thoughts because they're based on wrong views. So the thought, now these three types of right thought are connected with the Dhamma. So again, we have to understand that the Buddha was teaching Dhamma. He wasn't teaching absolute truths and all kind of other metaphysical things about the universe or the world. His whole teaching is based on people learning what causes them suffering and how to transcend the things that bring us suffering and increase our happiness. So it's important to understand that. So the thought of, so the Buddhist teaching is based on greed, hatred, and delusion. We read that under the right view. One of the aspects of right view is understanding what is the wholesome and what is the root of the wholesome, and understanding what are the unwholesome actions and what are the root of the unwholesome actions. So the right thought, suffering is caused by greed, hatred, and delusion. So these right thoughts are based on the opposites of that. So greed means wanting to amass lots of possessions, making life more complicated by, just creating so many things to get involved in, and just, more desires and so on. So people's lives are very burdened. And a lot of times, people, they want to go on a meditation retreat, but they say, oh, I want to come on the retreat, but, I have 6 cats, and who's going to take care of them? Or, 6 dogs, or I have 50 plants. I got to get somebody to water all my house plants, or so many other things people have that prevent them from doing things that they might want to do. Not only, of course, going to meditation retreats, but so many things too. And just being burdened by so many things, like having your closets full of stuff that you thought you want or needed, but you didn't use them in many months or even years. Things are accumulating in your closets, and you're tripping over your 30 pairs of shoes, and you can't find stuff because you don't know which of 10 boxes it's in because of so many things that you really thought you wanted, but it's just the mind, clinging on to all of our so many things. That burden, it's a burden on our mind. So the thought of simplifying your life, I like to translate it as simplifying rather than renunciation, because people have a wrong idea of what renunciation is. They think it means becoming a monk or a nun. Now that is one possibility, but for lay people especially, it's more like simplifying your life, unburdening your life by, the things that you don't need anymore, and just burden our mind. People have their houses, they have to put bars and locks on all their windows because they have, heirlooms from their great-grandparents or grandparents or their parents, and all these things have accumulated that thieves want to, break in, and so many other things. So it creates a lot of worry and problem for people, accumulating so many things. So simplifying the life. So one typical example is, okay, a couple, they raise a few children, the children are out of the house now. So sell that big house that they have to spend so much time cleaning and worrying about, get something smaller, simplify the life. So these are just some aspects of the thought of renunciation. What would it be like if I wasn't so burdened with all these things? Every night of the week, one night you have basket weaving, and the next night you have, soccer games, the next night you have bridge club, and the whole week is full of things that you do. Maybe you like to do them, but, do they really bring you a lot of benefits? So anyway, just the thought about it. Most people don't think about it, they just, their mind is just, that's the habit of most people. So the thought of simplifying one's life. And then there's the thought of non-ill will. So that's due to, accumulating anger and hatred, harboring resentment and ill will toward people that may have, you think, threatened you or cheated you or hurt you in some way in the past. Or not forgiving people because we think that, they did something, they should, that we don't want to forgive people, so we're holding that ill will in our mind, and it becomes a burden. So the thought of, freeing the mind from ill will, because it's really a yucky state of consciousness or the mind. So all these things have opposites, actually. So the thought of renunciation, the counterpart to that in the practice of Dhamma is the practice of giving, or practicing giving. So you can, every year go through your house and what you haven't used in 6 months, have a rummage sale or give it away to charity, clothes, shoes, whatever it might be, an old, broken car that doesn't run, give it to these people that, organizations that collect old cars to renovate and use for charity purposes, or tools and so on. So there's a lot of ways that we can practice the generosity or dana, and helping us to practice renunciation at the same time. In the same way with freeing your mind from ill will. So the antidote for that is practicing metta. Instead of thinking about what people have done to you and trying to get revenge from them, sending them metta. May they be free from their greed, hatred, and delusion, free from their their negative conditioning, and may they be well and happy. Because if people were well and happy, then they wouldn't do things that cause us problems. So to send metta, the practice of metta, is an antidote for the ill will. And then the thought of harmlessness. So ill will and harmlessness, they're kind of close together. Because if you have ill will towards something, then it may lead to you actually physically harming somebody or doing some other negative karma to hurt the person. So, but they're two different practices. So the harmlessness, it means not wanting to cause harm to others, whether it's by speech or it's by your actions or it's even by your thoughts. So all these things are connected with greed, hatred, and delusion, and that's why they are because those are the things that occupy probably 50% of people's thoughts in the regular world are have one of these, either greed, attachment, ill will, or connected with that. And that's the cause for a lot of guilt, worry, remorse, and fear, and just restlessness. Not being contented, always thinking, what more can I get? And how can I get it? And so on. So that right thought or right resolve, right intention. So it's the intention to do these things. But the intention is based on, first you have to have the thought about it, and then you develop the intention to do it. Like maybe the first time you heard Dhamma, right? You don't immediately have right resolve for Dhamma, you have to hear about it. Oh, Dhamma, a meditation. Oh yeah, let me do that. Oh, 5 precepts. Yeah, let me practice 5 precepts. So that's why the right view comes first, and then you have to think about it, and then you generate the motivation to then actually start practicing these other things. And that's why the next step of the Eightfold Path is right speech. Because, so right view and right thought are considered to belong to a subgroup of the Eightfold Path called wisdom. Which we'll talk more about later, about all the 8 steps of the Eightfold Path are divided into 3 groups called Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, or we'll discuss that later. So what is right speech? It's basically abstaining from the negative types of speech. So actually, when you read these lists, especially like the Eightfold Path, like right view is basically giving up the wrong views. Right speech means giving up wrong speech, but practicing the opposites of that. So most of our karma in the life comes from speaking and physical actions. We tell lies. The four types of right speech are abstaining from lying, abstaining from divisive speech. This basically means slandering other people and telling tales about each other in order to break up their friendships. It's just kind of, so-and-so did this. Especially with politicians, we see that very clearly. Wanting to, put others in a bad light for their own purposes, to bring attention to other people, to hide one's own faults. We try to pick out the faults of others. So, abstaining from divisive speech, and then from abusive speech. This basically is like harsh speech. They're using swear words and curse words with anger behind it, which is so common in the general society. And we pick this up as young children. We pick this up from listening to our parents or watching the TV, of course, the media. Nowadays, maybe not TV so much, but back in the 50s and 60s, we learned everything from TV, right? But anyway, and then from idle chatter. So there's four types of what are considered to be the right speech, means abstaining from those forms of negative speech. Because when we do those kind of speech, then like when you tell lies, people will call you a liar, and they won't trust you anymore when they find out you're telling lies. And then divisive speech, wanting to break up friendships because of one's greed or hatred from others. We tell tales about others, whether it's true or not. We shouldn't talk about others behind their back, unless it's about maybe praising people, but not picking out their faults, because usually we're trying to hide our own faults. So, and then the idle chatter, this is a little bit more difficult to practice because there's a lot of gray lines in idle chatter. But basically it means all these kinds of speech are what create a lot of problems in our life, because people find out that we've done these kind of speech, and then we hear back from others about it, or we get caught in the midst of these things, and a lot of other problems arise. So the practice of sila, or harmonious behavior, it helps to weaken guilt, worry, remorse, and fear. Now, so much of the mental suffering people suffer from is guilt, worry, remorse, and fear. From having done things they know they shouldn't have done, or not having done things they should have done. And so this, the right speech is part of, learning how to, and it's connected with the law of karma, right? So by using these types of negative speech, you're opening the door for bad speech from others coming back to affect you. People will start talking about you, picking out your faults if you pick out the faults of others, and so on, or using harsh speech, swear words, and so on. We get a lot of feedback from that, because these all are going to affect your ability to meditate, as we'll see as we go on. So, the right speech. So that means, the right view and right thought is kind of more mental, develop these mental ideas about the Dhamma. Now, what are you going to do actually in the daily life? And that is it starts with, cleaning up your speech, practicing right speech, and then right action. And right action is three kinds of action that we do with the physical body. So abstaining from killing, but this could be extended to even abstain from physically harming, like, getting in fights, or, beating people, or, you may not kill somebody, but you might, physically abuse them. So that's, an extension of the abstaining from, taking life. But it's, the killing is the harshest, result of indulging in those things. And then stealing. We do that with the body normally. But we can also do that with the mind. We can steal, like, people are stealing people's other intellectual things, and or stealing time from others by wasting their time on frivolous things. And so there's lots of nuances to these ways that, we can practice these, the sila, the right action. And then, of course, abstaining from sexual misconduct. So much suffering arises in this world because of, aggressive behaviors, strong addiction to this, strong, lust and these kind of desires that lead people to abuse people. There's so many problems we hear every day. We're hearing about these things, whether it's abusing underage people and everything else. And so much suffering comes from it. And of course, not only that, you get punished by the law for doing these things too, and wind up, getting punished by the law and so on, making our lives very, very complicated. So again, so much of our actions, negative actions, by performing these wrong actions, what also fills our mind with guilt, worry, remorse, and fear. And then it comes up to, when you start to meditate, these are the things that contribute to hindrances. And so again, all of this is for people that want to learn meditation. It's the preparation for what is going to come next, the practice of, the meditation. So the right speech, right action is about abstaining from those negative types of karmic actions, those 10 negative actions that were talked about by Venerable Sariputta as being the 10 negative actions. And the root of the negative actions come from greed, hatred, and delusion. Now, this right speech, right action, and the next one, right livelihood, belong to that subgroup of what is called sila. So I mentioned the Eightfold Path is divided into 3 groups called sila, samadhi, and panya. But actually, to follow the order that it's mentioned in the Eightfold Path, it would be panya, and then sila, and then samadhi, that we'll probably talk about next week. But so these 3, the right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Now, right livelihood means having a means of earning your living. So everybody pretty much has to have a means of earning their living. And especially with lay people, that means you have to get a job, right? Because you need money to live in this kind of, world. So to have a type of job that wouldn't cause you to directly or indirectly have to use wrong speech or wrong action. And we all know that there's a lot of jobs where there's a lot of gray lines in this. Like even not telling the truth about products in business, right? And, maybe cheating in business, not telling the truth about your products or other types of things in order to make more money. So and even in medicine, there's a lot of corruption within businesses and even medicine because of money. Drugs, they might not tell the whole truth about drugs to sell drugs and then cause people problems, or like tobacco and other things. People are saying, oh, there's no going to cause any harm, and so on. So anyway, so it's better, usually the traditional jobs considered wrong livelihood in the Buddhist teaching would be, like raising farm animals to be slaughtered to, sell for food. So, because that would be directly contributing, you're raising animals that are going to be slaughtered in order to sell, of course, to make money, right? Like farmers. So, you might have guilt about that. And so you might think about that, or there's examples that a person or involved in those occupations, like butcher shops and things like that, or selling alcohol and drugs, or gambling and other vices that cause people to, cause a lot of corruption in the world, and that would cause you in one way to break any of those other precepts of right speech and right action. Because again, you're the one that has to go home and sleep at night. So I always give the example of a secretary. Let's say a secretary has a job keeping the books for a big company. It's a just job for her, right? Or him, keep the books. But then at tax time, the boss comes by and looks over his shoulder and says, change that 50 million to just 5 million. Then the secretary might think, well, that's not honest. And the boss might be saying, well, there's 10 people waiting for your job. And so you might feel pressured then to, to do that, right? So there's a lot of jobs that involve that sort of thing. But these are, again, what people might think about. So those three things, right speech, right action, right livelihood, these belong to the subgroup called Sila. And Sila is an interesting name. There's different ways it can be interpreted. But the one I like is, it comes from the root sitala, or cool, to cool. Now, there's other meanings of it too, but I tend to like that one. So it means cooling behavior. It means behavior that cools your mind. It frees your mind from greed, hatred, and delusion. So you practice sila, right speech, right action, and right livelihood. So you cool your mind from the fevers of guilt, worry, remorse, fear, and so on. Always looking over his shoulder. Who's going to find out what I did? Stole something, told a lie, slandered somebody, so on. So anyway, it's cooling behavior. But Bhante Gunaratana, he also has he's a Pali expert, so he might be even a better word. Or the word seal, so it comes from the word to seal out the negative thoughts. So practicing sila, you're sealing your mind from thoughts of, ill will and harm and greed, or sealing it from those unwholesome actions. And there's different ways a person could interpret it. But the main thing is knowing the meaning behind the practice. It means to basically free the mind from guilt, worry, remorse, and fear, so that when you sit to meditate, you won't be thinking, oh, somebody's going to find out I told a lie, or somebody told a lie, my best friend's going to find out I told their secrets, or whatever. There's so many examples. So I think we're going to stop there for this week and save the last 3 steps of the Eightfold Path for next week. That means the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So I wanted to now open this up to see if anybody has any questions. So I'm going to now stop sharing this screen and coming back. So nothing is written in the chat box yet. But if any of you have any questions about any of those first 5 steps of the Eightfold Path I mentioned, right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, free to ask any, feel free to ask some questions you might have. I know we've discussed this in the past, so you might have already asked your questions long ago and got answers from that. Okay, I see a golden hand arose from Lori. So Lori, you have a question? Please.
Yes, thank you. With right view, do we need to have full understanding of it, or is it enough to start with the knowledge and then through practice, the full understanding comes?
No, that's a very good question, and I'm glad that you brought that out because, yes, there are 3 levels of right understanding or right view. That means, most of us have heard Dhamma just by sort of accidentally hearing a Dhamma talk or picking up a book at a friend's house, what the Buddha taught, oh, what's that? When you start reading, oh, that sounds interesting. And, you start to read it and then you get some kind of intellectual understanding of, the teachings, like the law of karma, about meditation. You may not fully understand, but at least it sparks your interest. And maybe sparks your interest to at least to read some more, to find out more about it. So that's what I call the intellectual wisdom. So first you gain an intellectual wisdom, which is kind of exciting. You get exciting like a child in a candy store or going into a toy store the first time. Because that's what happened to me when I had to write that paper in junior college about Buddhism, and I had to go to the library and read all these things. I got really interested. Nirvana and the Four Noble Truths, things I'd never heard before. So it sparks your interest, and then you start practicing. So you try to start practicing precepts. Maybe you give up trying to tell lies, or to use wrong speech. Maybe you try not to cut down on your intake of alcohol, or in some little ways you start practicing, sila, and then maybe you try to practice a little meditation, and then you find out, oh, I got so many hindrances, and you see how they're connected to a lot of your behaviors in life. So, the right that intellectual understanding leads to what is called the understanding that arises through contemplation, or chintamaya panya, thinking about it. So right thought. You have the right view, but then you have to go on thinking about the Dhamma. And so it gets deeper when you start thinking more clearly about things, and as you start to meditate and your hindrances subside, then you get some insights. And so you're deepening your understanding. It no longer is only intellectual. Let's say you stop stealing things, you're using bad language, and you see that your mind has become a little bit more peaceful, or other things like that. You stop drinking 5 days a week, and maybe just once a week, or whatever. You're just reducing little by little. So you can see the benefits. So that means it's no longer intellectual. You're starting to actually see the benefits working in your life. So, but that can be the longest section. Getting an intellectual understanding is not that difficult because a person can read a number of books, but to actually start contemplating then and to where it leads to really, really deeper insights, that could take a longer period of time. Of course, each person is different in that regard. And then the third level of the wisdom is the wisdom that comes through the real deep insights. And specifically, it means attaining the stages of entering the stream, once returning, never returning, and of course the Arhat stage. It's called the Bhavana Maya Panya. But even so, even without attaining Sotapanna, for example, you can still gain Bhavana Maya Panya. You can gain jhana, you can gain access, concentration, which are all types of a deeper wisdom. So that's the gradual practice. So yes, you don't have to become a Sotapanna to start practicing Dhamma. Otherwise, most people, they'd give it up. So each of those helps to deepen your Dhamma practice. The intellectual understanding helps you to start practicing and thinking more about the Dhamma, see how it's working in your life, even in your daily life. Apart from meditation, we can, everywhere in our life, Dhamma is showing itself. You see greed, hatred, and delusion out on the streets, on all these programs that you may see or hear about in the newspaper, all these wars and happening and wrong speech. I mean, and you can see the suffering that it's causing people. These are ways you contemplate Dhamma too, not simply in meditation, but reflecting. People don't reflect on it because they're caught up in their own views and they can't really, allow some different points of view in. But once you start allowing them in, you see, yes, there are so many things that we don't know. Okay. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So any other questions? Okay, Michael.
Hi, Bhante. I find it very interesting that the precepts are found in the Eightfold Path. They're all there.
Yes, they
So if
are.
you're practicing it, you're practicing the precepts as well.
Of course. Yes. Yeah. Three of the Eightfold Path are the precepts. And then as we see next week, 3 of them are the actual practice of meditation and cultivating right effort. And the first 2 are probably the simplest ones, just getting right view, the intellectual right view. It's not too difficult, although, it does take some, and developing right thoughts. But, changing our behavior is difficult, but because our behavior comes from our mind, our own thoughts. So let's say if you have an intention to maybe cheat on something or steal something or use some harsh speech, you check yourself. You have to be mindful that, oh, yes, that's a negative action. They may not use a swear word. And so instead of using some 4-letter word, you use something more, gentle towards somebody instead of calling people names. Or, that's a very common thing. Or telling, little white lies or things like that. But that requires mindfulness to do that too. So that's why the Eightfold Path isn't you practice one thing first and then you practice another. They're all, become interrelated, and we'll talk about that, in the following sessions too. Okay. But yes, those people talk about Sila, Samadhi, Panya, and then they don't know that it's actually the Eightfold Path that they're talking about. That's why it's good to actually, study those, all those steps of the Eightfold Path and how they fit together. Okay, friends. So I think we will take a short break if needed, and then come back in a few minutes, do some standing, some breathing and stretching to get the mind centered in the body, and then have our meditation. Okay? So we'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, friends, try to stand straight Relax your shoulders and arms to the side. Just gently close your eyes. Feel your feet pressing the floor. Try to feel the height and the weight of the body over the feet. Feel the weight of your arms hanging from the shoulders. Feel the clothing touching the skin of your shoulders, arms, and chest. Feel your head balanced on top. Feel your eyes resting in the socket. If you can, just try to mentally feel that outline of the standing body. Try to hold that outline of the standing body in the mind's eye. And now begin some deep, slow breathing. It'll take 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Hold the air in the lungs 2 seconds. Then slowly breathe out. Feel the air go out of the lungs. Take a few more deep, slow breaths, cultivating this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we'll combine this breathing with these movements. You can open the eyes and observe me as I lead you through this. So on the next in-breath, raise your arms over the head, interlock your fingers, turn the palms up, straighten your arms, stretch your head back, then release your fingers on the out-breath, arms back to the side, feel the air going out. Again, in-breath, interlock the fingers, stretch up, bend back a little bit, feel the arch in the spine, feel the sensations, out breath, feel the air go out as the arms come down. Once more in, stretch up, bend back a little more, hold it a little longer. Out breath, feel the air go out as the arms come down. And relax, close the eyes, feel the outline of the body, feel the increased life force vibration, clothing touching the outer skin, increased pulsation, heartbeat, prickly sensations and aches or pain. Just letting go of your thoughts. Keep the mind centered in the body. And on the next in breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms over the head. In this way, face the hands toward each other about 5 inches apart, stretch up. In the out breath, come back down, feel the air go out as the arms come back down, feet to the floor. Use the in breath to help lift up the body. Blowing up a helium balloon, stretch out. Once more in, stretch. Out. Relax. Close the eyes. Feel the increased sensation. Each exercise will generate different sensations in different places. Just remember the present moment of standing, letting go of the past and future, present moment of the body. Next we'll do side bending. On the in-breath, raise both arms up, and keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. And on the out-breath, bend over the right side, and keep your arms parallel to each other. Feel the stretch in the side. In-breath, lift up. And the other side, out-breath. In-breath up. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Once more to each side. Feel the sensation. On the out breath, lower the arms. Relax, close the eyes. Try to feel that outline of the body, sense of the head on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. All those places create the outline of the body, which is a mental perception. Just remember standing, letting go of your thoughts. Just let the thoughts come and go in the back of the mind, keeping the sensations of the standing body in the front of the awareness. And next, we'll do this knee bending or squatting. So in the next in-breath, you can lift up on the balls of the feet and lift the arms up front for balance. And on the out-breath, bend your knees and lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet. Try to come down into the squatting position, balancing on the balls of the feet. And take a deep breath to feel the muscles in the legs pushing the body up. And out breath down. In. In. Out breath, relax. Feel the increased heartbeat, or the pulsations, breathing. So you hold that outline of the body in the mind's eye. Standing, standing. Now spread your legs and feet apart about 3 feet or 1 meter. And hold the arms out to the side. We'll do twisting from right to left. Give the spinal column a lateral twist. We'll breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. The in breath, come back to the front. And let your feet turn with the body and twist to the other side, the out breath. In breath, front. Again to the right, out breath. In. Out. In. Once more to each side. Come back to the front. Relax. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the clothing touching the skin of the legs. Feel the hands and fingers. The arms. Clothing touching the skin. Head balanced on top. The eyes in the socket. Feel those subtle life force vibrations. Basically, they're just cellular vibrations. What you feel in the body are just basically cellular vibrations, billions of cells interacting, bumping into each other, keeping this body alive. Present moment, body-centered awareness. First stage of any deeper meditation. Okay, now place the hands together at the chest. And breathe in, raise the hands over the head. Stretch up. On the out breath, lower the hands to the chest and bend your knees to lower the body down. Try to keep your back upright. Feel the stretch in your knees and hips. In breath, push up. Hands over the head. Second time, try to come down a little more. In. Out. In. And the out breath, arms back to the sides. Close the eyes. Feel the whole body. Heart beating, pulsating. Clothing touching the skin. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Can be the outline of the body in the front of the awareness. Now we're going to do a forward and backward bending exercise. Just be careful with the back bends. Don't bend back too far the first time. We'll breathe in. On the out breath, bend forward, let your hands slide down to your kneecaps. Keep the head lifted up, looking out straight ahead. And keep the legs straight and flatten the spine. In breath, lift up. And move the hands around the back under the buttocks for support. Let the head go back. On the out breath, gently bend backwards. Keep your eyes open. Feel the arch in the spine. In breath, carefully lift up. Feel everything shaking. And the second time, let the hands come down below your knees. Feel the extra stretch in the leg muscles. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. In breath, lift up. Hands around the back. Out breath, bend back. Be careful. In breath, lift up. And the third time, let the hands come down as far as you can to your ankles or feet. Then hold on longer. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out where the spine joins the pelvis. And stretching the leg muscles. In the in-breath, carefully lift up. Once more, the back bend. And be careful. In-breath, lift up. On the out-breath, relax your shoulders and arms at the sides. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the heartbeat, breathing. Present moment, body-centered awareness. And now bring your legs and feet back closer together. Stand straight. There's one last exercise, the head turning from right to left. Loosen up the neck vertebrae. On the in-breath, turn your head to the right as far as you comfortably can. Look over your right shoulder. If you have a stiff neck, just be careful. Feel those sensations, out breath. Turn the head all the way back to the left. Look over the left shoulder. In breath back to the right. Concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Out breath left. Once more to each side. On the in-breath, let the head stop in the center. Keep the eyes closed. Feel the whole body. Feel that increased aliveness in the whole body. Present moment, body-centered awareness. First stage of deeper insight meditation. Mindfulness of the body. All the sensations, feelings arising through the body. Okay, so now let's come back to our seats, get ready for the sitting.
Let me put this away.
I need some tech help up here. I don't know how this keeps on coming onto my screen. Happens every time. I don't know why. I didn't even click anything.
I think you have.
Yeah, but that's my Zoom, so I want that to come on, but this keeps on coming on.
What's the stuff?
I don't know.
Give it a shot.
No, that's,
Hey, he somehow isn't totally in Zoom, but he's still there. Can you help? I don't want to mess him up.
Is the Zoom, I didn't quite catch the first part, is Zoom out?
this happens every time, and I don't know why. Why does it show this stuff?
Oh, right. I
Yeah, I want to,
see, these are funny
there's no little thing to delete it.
No, we've got to make the Zoom big.
It is big, but this is covering it.
Oh, okay, so,
This happened last time too, and I can't remember.
oh, I see. So this window on the left is open. Can you grab that window on the left by holding the mouse down at the top and dragging it? If you
It
put it towards-
doesn't.
It doesn't move, huh?
No.
Okay,
I mean, I know it's a simple thing, but I
Maybe
can't
under
figure it out.
warm.
Excuse me, people, I'm having some tech difficulties with my screen here.
could it be as simple as clicking on that multicolored butterfly in the top left-hand corner?
This?
Maybe it's kind of a, no.
See, I don't want to do this because that'll click off the whole thing.
That's right, yeah.
Why is it doing that?
Yes, we'll find it in a moment, I'm sure. It'll be,
Hang on, folks.
Now, this has a scroll bar on the right-hand side, very thin. Oh, okay, it's already at the top. And, okay, yeah, so it's already at the top. Can you drag it down? If you, can you tag a hold of it and drag it? It doesn't move anywhere, huh?
No, it doesn't move.
I have this feeling like there's an X up here just off the screen, but I could be wrong. You see how runs off the screen a little bit.
I don't understand why it happens.
Yeah. There must be a way, Dushanti,
Yeah,
do you know how to bring up, like, is there a way, oh, you did it. Let me figure it out.
so you just minimize it using that.
Okay. Sorry, friends. Even though I do this program every week, I still run into difficulties. Okay, so let's go ahead and sit in a straight posture. Feel your head balanced on top. Gently close your eyes. Try to hold the outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. Just feeling your head balanced on top. Arms at the sides, feet tucked underneath. And begin some deep, slow breathing. Developing this basic mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath a second. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count our breaths from 1 to 10 to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath a second. And with the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. And the next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. Out 10. Now as the last bit of air goes out, don't try to control the breath any longer. Just let the breath come back in under its own power, but continue to feel it. Feel the shorter, more irregular movements of the breathing. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it. You're feeling the air moving through the nostrils, or feel the expanding and contracting of the abdomen or chest. Try to notice the brief pauses between the breaths. After the in-breath, there's a brief pause, just a fraction of a second. After the out-breath, there's a brief pause. maybe a little longer. Just tune in to those 4 phases of each breath cycle. Expanding in breath and the brief pause. The contracting out breath and the brief pause. Breath by breath, moment by moment. Just letting go of your thoughts. Just let your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind, keeping the breathing body in the front of the awareness. Try to feel that breathing occurring within the larger sitting body. You can use these brief mental reminders to help stay focused. In sitting, out, sitting, just over and over and over again. In sitting, out, sitting. It's the ongoing continuous connection to the present moment. This breathing body is the natural connection for the mind to the present moment awareness. If you still have lots of thoughts, you can try counting the breaths from 1 to 10 again by yourself. See if you can make it to 10 without the mind either going to sleep or getting carried away in thought. If the mind does lose its count, then start the counting again at 1. So it's a challenge to stay alert, concentrated. If you catch the mind lost in thoughts, recognize it as lost. Take a deep, slow breath. Bring the mind back into the body. Get recentered, awake in the breathing body. In, sitting. Out, sitting. Breath by breath. Moment by moment. With each out breath, just allowing the body and mind to relax more and more into the here and now, to the present moment. I try to notice how each breath is different. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. It's always changing. Cultivating mindfulness and concentration. Concentration is the ability to keep the mind focused on the breathing. The mindfulness is alert for any distractions, any hindrances arising. To apply the appropriate antidote. Come back to the breathing. When the mind becomes more concentrated and relaxed, with good awareness, it's gradually opening up to the flow of other sensations, flow of impermanence. The breathing is always there in the center, but around it other sensations can be noticed coming and going, sounds coming and going, and thoughts moving through the back of the mind. That connection to the breathing keeps the mind steady from getting carried away. The mind becomes dull or too many thoughts, do some more deep, slow breathing. Keep the bloodstream charged up with oxygen. Help stay awake, centered in the body, moment to moment. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. So many different sensations coming and going. Sounds come and go. Perceptions, thoughts come and go. Thoughts of I, me, or mine come and go. These are all just a continuous flow of changing nature of the five aggregates, the flow of impermanence, through this sitting body awareness. If you can, just try to become like an empty house with nobody home to answer the call, knocking on the doors and windows. But there's a sensitive microphone in the house, which is present moment awareness, that knows, cannot react. Dukkha pata chani dukkha bhaya pata chani bhaya sukha pata chani sukha hontu sabbi pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way, may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. Thus spoke the Buddha. Now I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly to finish the meditation. Feel those vibrations in the body and mind. So take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Now place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath. As you breathe in, stretch your head back. Pull the hands on the knees to arch your spine. And lift the head up on an in-breath. On the out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. Lift the chin up level on an in-breath. And relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends, so this brings our evening of Dhamma discussion and meditation to an end. As I always say, mindfulness should never end. It means learning how to take the M&Ms, do the M&Ms, minutes of meditation every hour during the day, to stop what you're doing, bring the mind back to the present moment, take a few deep breaths, let go of the past and future. So I just wanted to make an announcement about if anybody lives nearby the Lion of Wisdom Meditation Center. This Sunday we're having a Wesak program here at the Lion of Wisdom in Gaithersburg, near Damascus. It's from about 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll be giving a 30-minute kind of guided meditation to start that off in the morning. Then there'll be a Buddha Puja, then there'll be lunch. Lunch will be served by Sri Lankan style food. Then afterwards, some other activities after lunch, talk and so on. So people are welcome to come out and join that if if they're able to. Otherwise, then we will perhaps see us again next week. Again next week, the Zoom program will continue going over the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration of the Noble Eightfold Path. So until then, be well, be safe, be mindful, be wise. And Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Teruan Saranay Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you,
Teruan
Bhante. Teruan Saranay.
Bhante.
Teruan Saranay, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.